What's up, everybody? It's your boy K Dub, back on it with this year's 2K25 rotation tutorial. Alright, so this is a team that I've already played a little bit with. I took a little time to try and figure out the game a bit, and there's a couple of things that I think people should know when it comes to setting their rotations. So the first thing is that whenever you go to your coaching tab, you want to go to coaches setting and make sure this adaptive coaching engine right here is turned off. Okay, if you have it set on, at least for offense, I don't know, well, with defense it calls different defensive plays, it does different matchups, and I think it still does that. To be honest with you, it's kind of a bug that I haven't quite figured out, but sometimes they switch the best defenders onto people that you probably don't want them guarding. But with the offense, if it's turned on, then they completely take over your rotation. So you want to make sure that is off. The other thing you want to make sure that you have is your substitutions set to auto. And you want to make sure that your substitution method is set to rotation. Okay? Not fatigue, not ACE. And other than that, these are just my settings I like to have. I like to have the offensive play calling along with the play vision displays, so the plays will automatically happen, and you just got to run through them with your players. You don't have to call anything out. Other than that, though, all the rest is up to you and your play style. So as long as you have that set, let's go ahead and get into the rotation itself. So you want to go to Coach Game Plan and then All Teams. Now, I'm fresh off of a game, so that's why there's so many batteries next to everybody. But the next step you want to do is press the Start button to go to the rotation timeline. And when you go to this rotation timeline, your left analog can decide whether you want to do substitutions mode, positions mode, role mode, or paint mode. I always personally do paint mode. I think that's the best. It gives you the most control. And this is already a rotation that I had set for this team. I'm going to redo my rotation just to give you guys a good idea of how I like to think whenever I'm setting my rotation. So for starters, I play 10-minute quarters whenever I'm actually playing. I set my real time to 10 minutes, and I set my simulation time to 10 minutes. Whenever you keep that in mind, if you do, these are 12-minute quarters. If you set it to half of it, which would be 6 minutes, right? You got to think of that in terms of 10-minute quarters of what you're playing. So that would be 5 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, Evan Mobley would be coming out, Anunoby would be coming out, Caldwell would be coming out, but Maxey would be staying in. Now, Maxey is up to 9 minutes. Okay, that's 3/4 out of 12. What's 3/4 of 10? Well, that would be 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So Tyrese Maxey will play for the first 7 minutes and 30 seconds of a 10-minute quarter. He'll come out at the 2:30 mark. All right. Typically, he'll just go up to the booth. That's why also in my settings, if you saw, I have timeouts on manual, because I make sure to call the timeouts. I don't want the computer wasting any of my timeouts if I need them because of rotation standards. Okay. So with this first rotation, when the backups come in, and you can see I have some solid backups. I tried to go young. I got Reed Shepard, which he's a dog in this game. But then obviously Sar, and then Thompson, who was a top pick from last year, Reed, and then Williams. I also have a Kogi. I have Topic. Topic is another great young player, but his overall isn't up there, so that's why he doesn't have any minutes. But let's go ahead and say in this rotation, I wanted to give him more minutes, him instead of Williams or a Kogi. So we'll go ahead and make Thompson come in at small forward, and we'll put Topic in at shooting guard for the first rotation. And that's just to give him a little minutes, not sacrificing anything from Thompson. It's taken away from Zaire Williams, but Zaire already has the 6 minutes towards the end of the third and going into the fourth already. So 6 here, 6 here, 6 there. I would think of that in terms of whoever gets the better stats with their 6 minutes. If they had 6 minutes fully in a game, technically with 10-minute quarters, it would be 5 minutes. So each of them has a guaranteed 5 minutes if I'm calling the timeouts at the appropriate times to get them in. And I would look at their stats and see who's earning more minutes with their play. Shepard, on the other hand here, you can see he comes in at the 2:30-minute mark and then he's done, and then 2:30-minute mark again. But then towards the end here, he comes in at the 5-minute mark, and I don't take him out until the 7:30-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Okay. Up here you have Mobley. Mobley switching off to the center. That's an option you can do by pressing triangle, and it allows you to select the position that you want to paint mode them into. So, for example, I have Thompson coming in as small forward, but then he's going to run point guard whenever I have my defensive players in, along with Sar. So I have two great interior defender. Well, I wouldn't say great, but two good interior defenders that are long and can run. And then I have basically all defenders, because at the beginning of that second quarter, a lot of times that's when some of the better players that you're facing will come back in. If you have like a LeBron James on the other side of the court, he's probably going to stay in all the way through the first quarter into about halfway of the second quarter, and they'll sit him before the end of the second half. And so that's why I like to have people like Maxey. He stays in late in the first quarter so he can continue to compete with those stars that we're facing. But then I give him rest and then put in all the defensive stoppers to see if I can make it an ugly game, disrupt the rhythm. And then finally, when the LeBrons or the Doncic or the Anthony Davises, when they go out of the game, I bring Maxey back in. That's my opportunity to try and push ahead, push to the lead. So as you can see here, Caldwell Pope only has 24 minutes, but he is starting every quarter. So if there is an instance where you're not, on the clock like a hawk and watching what the time marks are, someone like Caldwell Pope would already be in at the start of every quarter, guaranteed. So he's a starter, he's getting his minutes, but that's why I trimmed him to 24, because someone like, let's say Thompson, for example, him coming in at the 5-minute mark, maybe I'm not paying attention, maybe it's a close game, and I want to make sure not to disrupt the rhythm or whatever. He may not come in until like the 7-minute mark, a little bit slightly before guys like Mobley and Maxey come out too. So these are just things I like to keep in consideration. I don't want to make this video too long just talking about my strategies. I think everyone should have their own individual strategies. Another thing I do want to touch on before I get off of here is the training. Whenever you go to player mentorship, just like last year, which I haven't done it yet in this game, but it's all the same. I've seen the older the player is, obviously the more experience they have to be able to pass on to a younger player, such as Drummond passing on abilities over to Evan Mobley, right? The better the badge that he has, the faster the player will acquire that badge. So for this bronze right here, I'm going to go ahead and switch it to Paint Prodigy. His other one, this is a silver for him. I'm going to switch it to Brick Wall because it's a gold. It's going to get him the badges faster, okay? But for someone who is younger, obviously like this, he's only 26 years old, so it's a silver badge. Even if it was a gold badge, it wouldn't get to him even within the season. Asar Thompson wouldn't obtain that off-ball pest badge. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your player mentorship. I'm going to save the training schedule, the individual training, the player development stuff for another video. Comment if you guys would like to see that video. That would encourage me to actually do it. But if you have any questions, feel free to always comment in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you guys to answer your questions as soon as I can. One more thing I just thought of is on the fly lineups. I always love to alter this to try and get those young guys in, like Topic. The other dudes like Sar and my point guard, I forget his name, but they have enough playing time during the game that I would like to get guys like Ty Jerome in and Okogie in. So that's how you can alter your bench lineups, All right. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. It would go a long way. I only need 100 more subscribers until I can actually try to get monetized through YouTube, and that would be a blessing. I would love to have an extra income stream, and so your support would be greatly appreciated. Please, all of you, have a blessed day. Help your friends. Have a blessed day. Spread positivity. Spread good vibes. Just be good people. All right. Have a good one.